previously on Nerd Talk.
Me watch Star Wars, but she would let me watch Alice Sweet Alice because it says Alice in the title, and as a kid, it's not Alice in Wonderland, which I watched a lot as a child. But no, she was really weird about that. If I got lucky and I caught a movie on TV and she wasn't like sitting right next to me or she was cleaning, I might be able to sneak a movie I wasn't supposed to watch. But for the most part, I was very limited until I met you when I was like 16, 17. I was like, and I told you that, and you were like, we gotta fix this. So all the good
So
movies.
many movies to watch.
It's crazy to think that that's now kind of my childhood too, because that was so many years ago.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I watch reactors too, because
Mhm.
in person it's kind of weird. You watch somebody watch a movie the whole time, but in on YouTube you're like, I'm watching you watch this movie. It's normal.
Yeah, those guys watching Homeward Bound, they were so funny.
Yeah. They are animal lovers, and they're like, no.
We all felt that way. Shadow put us through it.
Yeah, that's.
Listen!
Hey nerds, welcome back to Nerd Talk with Silver and Ray, where we chat about our favorite topics in TV, movies, gaming, books, comics, and so on and so forth. I'm Silver.
And I'm Ray.
Hi Ray, how's it going today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So today we're talking about comic books and all things superhero and all that stuff. So let's roll right into it. What's your favorite comics you're reading right now?
Well, I'm reading Superman. I believe it's called For All Four Seasons or All Seasons. For it's that I can't say the word for all seasons.
Okay.
Superman for all seasons.
I got you.
It's an older one. It's from 1998, but I was reading it. It's a bigger comic book in general. It's not like a normal little thin comic.
Yeah.
And I've been reading it slowly, but they based the newer movie, this new movie that already came out now, off of it. So I was like, I'm gonna read it just to kind of touch up. Not really anything I had forgotten. It has a lot of like Superman's earlier life in it, when he was still in Smallville, of course. So
Okay, cool.
we have Lana in it. I'm not.
Meh.
I know. I've never been a big fan of hers.
No one likes her.
Um, and in this comic book in particular, she seems a little like extra annoying, maybe. I don't know. But Clark is portrayed super cute in this comic book, so it's easy to continue to read it and want to read it just for him because of course, he's the main subject anyway. But he's super cute. That's the one I'm reading right now, just in general for the
Mhm.
new movie.
And what comics do you usually read or have nostalgia about?
Well, my favorite one is Doomsday. Both the comic and the movie that came out in 2017 that was based off of it. Um, I think I almost like the movie more, which is not typical, but it's based off of the Doomsday comic, and it's really good. Superman dies in that one,
Oh.
but not. I mean, not really. Spoiler alert. I mean, he's Superman. He can't technically die.
I mean, he can die.
If they take him off of this planet, I assume like where his powers couldn't regenerate.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, he dies and they bury him here.
Kryptonite.
So he, yeah, and it wasn't kryptonite. It was like a battle with him and Doomsday because Doomsday is like the big bad guy.
Sure.
So he really wasn't dead. He was just beat up. And he does come back.
He
So
regenerates from the ground without the sun.
yeah, through the ground. I mean, I think in the Henry Cavill one, it kind of does something like that too. But yeah, I feel like if kryptonite is not the reason for his death and he's just like in a battle and he dies
Yeah.
or they think he's dead, they just gotta leave him in the sun long enough and he'll come back.
Sure. Okay. Well, you just read DC comics or what?
So I don't just read DC, I also read Marvel, but I prefer DC comics over Marvel a little bit Not so much because I like the characters more or less. I think I just like the format of DC Comics. So, like, DC makes up worlds. Like, not worlds, but you have Metropolis and Gotham and
Hmm.
like made up places. And when you're reading something that's like comic books are fantasy in a way because they
Yeah.
have flying people and superheroes.
You're
So
saying there's not superheroes?
no, I can't say that because I strongly believe there are. No, but like just that you can escape to that world.
Yeah.
Like Gotham, for example, even more than Metropolis, is one of those where it's like, the underbelly and it's like there's so many facets to it and you can really pretend like, man, this is like a really bad place. And you're not necessarily associating it with like a real life place.
Hmm.
My thing growing up, because I grew up in New York. So it's like, another devastating New York end all story,
Right.
and even just last month when we were in New York, we were driving certain places, and I was like, yeah, this is where the Avengers destroyed this building. This is where this and this died, and I'm like, it's so real. Like you can point out like places. We were on the bridge by the MetLife building. We just tried to take Alex to see all the like main stuff,
Hmm.
and it's the bridge where they have like that big Avengers scene, and I'm like, while that's cool, of course, I just when I'm reading, I like to be somewhere else.
Okay.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, it's like something you mentioned when we were talking about Harry Potter, where it's like this whole other world.
Yeah.
Like sure, technically in Orlando we can go to Diagon Alley, but it's not like a real place.
Hmm.
It's like, and when you're reading it, you can pretend it could be anything in your mind.
Yeah.
So that's the format of writing is what I prefer to DC versus Marvel. So that's why I've read more DC comics in my lifetime than I have Marvel.
Hmm.
Plus I like the Superman story so much that
Yeah.
I just am like, if I'm ever like, oh, I don't have a book to read right now, believe me, I'm gonna go to one of my Superman books, whether it be one I borrow digitally online or purchase digitally online or one of the ones I already have. It's always gonna be my go-to more than a Marvel one. And I actually own more DC comic books than I do Marvel. I actually only own like a couple of Marvel ones and they were gifted. I have not like sought any of them out.
Hmm.
As much as I love Spider-Man, I still I don't own many of them. I have the Marvel encyclopedia.
Okay.
It's older though, so it's really not up to date. That Marvel encyclopedia I have is like 20 years old. There's characters that weren't even like hadn't even been put in comic books yet.
Sure.
So I need a newer version of that that encyclopedia, but that is one of my main Marvel ones that I read.
Okay, and what made you uh get on board with Superman? Did somebody in your family like him, or you just because you saw the TV show when you were younger?
So I actually don't remember because I've just always loved Superman. I want to say that I think my mom used to watch the black and white was it George Reeves?
Yeah, I think so.
The original black
Hmm.
and white series. Um, and I know maybe one of my earliest memories of Superman, or maybe it's like a memory that's like way back. Uh, there's an episode of I Love Lucy.
Okay.
I know, right? This is taking it way back. There's an episode of I Love Lucy that my mom was obviously watching, and he's in it. The George Reeves is in it.
Okay.
And Lucy, I want to say Lucy dresses up as Superman too. Anyway, I remember seeing that and I remember having being interested in it, like the concept of a guy who can fly. And we're talking like I Love Lucy, you could see the strings on like the
Sure.
flying. It was a long
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even still with that, like I guess the illusion being, it's not like obviously it's not real,
Right.
but so what? Like I didn't care at all. As a kid, I was like, oh my God, I love this. And then my mom told me, yeah, it's a show. And they have a Batman one too. And so I saw Adam West and I saw George Reeves and I was
Mm.
like, this is cool. So she bought me a lot of the VHSs, I know going back, for the Christopher Reeves movies. And when I saw the first, I believe it's the first Christopher Reeves one, where him and Clark and Lois are going on a date,
Mm.
but he's kind of like prepping himself because he wants to tell her. So he's kind of has that little inner monologue. He's talking to himself essentially.
Yeah.
And he's like, Clark. And he's like, whatever. And then he's like, Superman. And he's like taller, his voice changes, and like he's still wearing Clark clothes. Excuse me, I have to read Clark. He's still wearing Clark clothes, but it's the difference.
Yeah.
Like right there, even just in like a suit, you could tell, like not like like the Superman suit, but like in just a tux, you could tell, like, my goodness, what a difference. And I just remember that, seeing that, I was like, wow. I was like, that's so impressive. Like just the way he did that. And as a little kid, I was highly impressed by that. And I watched all of those movies. My mom bought me the cartoons. It was I want to say they were like silent cartoons.
Okay.
With Superman, early
Based
cartoons.
on like the old newspaper comics or something.
And like the S was like the old S.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how old the cartoons were. And I think they were originally in black and white, but they remastered them to color. Because that's like when Lois's hair is sometimes blue because of the way they remaster it.
Yeah.
And I would watch those. I watched those so much. Like the first VHS I wore out because I loved it. And then, once Lois and Clark came around, it was over. I think it was like, what, 94 that series started?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think I had just turned 10 or something like that. And I saw Dean Cain and Terry for the first time, and I was like, I love them.
Yeah.
I want them to be my best friends. And I was just hooked. I could not. And I had to wait, episode for episode.
Right.
Before binging was even
before
a thing.
TiVo or DVRing or copying with a VCR this tape or whatever.
So my mom had a friend who, I mean, we grew up in New York, so he was a bootlegger, let's just be honest. And he would do like cassettes, like that he would sell, like copies of cassettes, like on the street. You used to be able to just buy cassettes off the street, off of people in New York. And he was like, yeah, you can copy it off the TV or whatever. And my mom was like, I don't know how to do that. And then I was like, can you teach me? You mean I don't have to wait a week to watch it? I can rewatch the same episode 5 times.
Yeah.
So I had a few of the episodes recorded, like some of my favorites that I would watch in between. And then like during summer when they weren't airing them at all, the hard times. How dare they? The hard times. And I was just always, I'd rather be doing that. Like a lot of times everyone's like, let's go outside, let's run around. I'm like, I got comic book stuff to read and watch.
To watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, of course, go out and run around, but I was happy that I was able to still have something to watch, even if just in the morning, when you get up, you have breakfast, like everyone's like, Saturday morning cartoons. Not that I didn't like Saturday morning cartoons, but I would rather rewatch the show I liked.
Yeah.
I still do that now, so I never grew out of that.
Yeah, and my mom always looked at me funny. She's like, "You watching this again?"
Yes.
I'm like, yes, I love it that much that it doesn't matter how many times I watch it. I want to see it again. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was Lois and Clark is when I got into Superman, but I probably knew something about the movies. I watched a lot of 80s movies growing up, just from being on TV. So probably at some point, the Christopher Reeve movies came on or something, and I was like, cool. Somebody who could fly, because I've always wanted to be able to fly. Yeah, so it just appealed to me as soon as I saw anything about it, but I don't really have a recollection of when was the first time. But yeah, and then when Lois and Clark came out, I was also 9 or 10, and so I was like, this is so good.
So good.
And I like that they spent a lot of time with Clark. Yes, he was Superman, but I liked him as Clark. And Clark I like more than Superman, I think. If it's like my favorite character or something, it would be Clark in that series and not Superman.
Yeah, the whole first episode, the whole pilot, which I think is part of why I like the pilot so much. Because he's Clark 90% of that.
Yeah, and his mom has to make him the outfit. And I was like, my mom's a seamstress too. So that's probably when I got on board with Superman for real, for real. And as you said, I rewatched and binged it over and over. I don't know if I recorded stuff on VHS from TV, but just anytime it was on, I would watch it, I think. And it didn't matter which episode or whatever. And in those days you didn't really watch things in order, so
Yeah.
probably who knows what episode I started on, because I don't catch shows as soon as they start. It'll be later, and it'll be like, oh, 2 seasons in, here's this episode, and I'm like, oh, I don't care where it started.
Yeah, I did watch it from the first episode, but that was just because everyone knew how obsessed with Superman I was. Like,
I
it was never
gotcha.
like a question. It was, everyone knew. So whenever those commercials came on, of course, it was before internet.
Yeah.
So people would tell me word of mouth, "Hey, did you know that this new Superman show is coming out?" And my mom actually was like, made a like wrote it down. It was something that was written down.
Okay.
So don't let her forget this show is coming out. Um, and it would come on later,
Uh-huh.
like in the night, like like we were young, so it was like our bedtime.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it actually came on technically past my bedtime, but like I always remember that day of the week. I can't remember which day it was, but I always remember that day of the week I got to stay up to watch it,
Sure.
like no matter what. I was, of course, if I did good in school, blah blah blah. But I'm a good kid. I never had to worry. I never missed an episode. And I always remember being so sad when the episode was over.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in the sofa sometimes just like dazing off, like
Sure.
it's over. I want to fly. Like I was like, I want to be like Terry. I want to be like Dean. I was like, and I don't even think I knew that their names were Dean and Terry back then. I didn't know any of that.
Right.
I don't think I paid attention to the
Yeah, we're not paying attention.
to
Who's the actor?
I didn't really start paying attention more to his name being Dean till like I know it was like maybe like preteen, like 13. And they those God, those Teen Beat magazines.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. So I loved like maybe not every, but I was a Jonathan Taylor Thomas fan.
Sure.
And I used to buy the Teen Beat magazines for the posters, for the Jonathan Taylor Thomas posters. But there was one where Dean was in it because it was like, it was like season 3 or whatever, Superman at that point, and it was very popular. And
Sure.
that famous picture of Terry where she's wearing just a cape
Mm-hmm.
was like every boy had to have that picture. I wanted it too. I'm not gonna lie. I think they're both beautiful. So I was like,
Sure.
oh my God. And the Terry picture, of course, was not in Team B, but the article kind of was like, it's not just Terry. She's not the only, cute one essentially,
Right.
or whatever. So is Dean, and that's when I guess I got to really learn who he was, and there was a poster in it, and he was sitting like on some glass, like it was like one of those glass things where you could see like the water underneath.
Yeah.
And he had his like legs crossed, and he was like wearing shorts, and you could see his feet. Why did I care about his feet? I don't know. I don't care about his feet now.
Why?
But
Yes, why?
but as a 13-year-old, I was like, this picture has his feet and his hands. It was up on my door. It was up on my door so fast. Like that was the first thing you saw walking into my room, was that picture of him. And it was like a bigger poster because it was the one that folded out from the middle.
Mm, okay.
God, I hope Dean doesn't see this. But
He
anyway,
might one day.
I'm gonna send it to him. But no, so yeah, I was and it probably still am like completely obsessed with him. And
Yeah.
I've told him I've met him probably around 18 times, over like 6 states. I think it's a
Okay.
lot.
Yes, it's a lot.
And
I agree.
yeah, we're friends now. I got to go to church with him in 2023,
Mm,
in Apopka of all places.
sure.
Like,
And you're skewing off topic.
no, it's still DK, it's still Superman. This is super on topic. But no, yeah, that was my entry to obsession with comic book stuff, and
Okay.
and I still like it,
Sure.
and to this day. And like you were saying, like the whole superhero thing, and just the hero's journey. I don't think I realized that that's what I liked until you mentioned those words.
Mhm.
But yes, that's timeless. I'm gonna always
Yeah.
want to read that. I'm gonna always want to be involved with stuff like that. It's good storytelling.
Sure. Yeah, and while you were talking, I was thinking about, I don't know how early TNT started to play reruns and stuff
Hmm.
of like Charmed and Superman and whatever else. They still play Charmed, I think, but that's also when I got to rewatch it a lot before we could record stuff and stuff because it would just be on every day on TNT or something, and it would just run every day of the week except for the weekend or whatever, and I would just watch it then too, I think. But no, it didn't lead me to comic books. I didn't say, "Oh, I need to go read the comics." It didn't occur to me at all. The only comics I have read are the Avatar one. I mentioned this before in the original video. Uh, yeah, just Avatar because I wanted to know what happened to Zuko's mom. I wanted to know what happened afterwards. I don't like to let characters go. Same with Buffy season 8. So I had some Buffy comics, and that was interesting to me just because it was a continuation of the story. And then some Walking Dead stuff because I didn't like how Walking Dead was going. And I used to just go to comic book stores and I have to buy something. So that's just, I bought one of the anthologies of The Walking Dead. And then I bought some comics about Paper Girl. I think they were like crime fighters or something, but they were like
Nice.
Paper girls too. And
Hmm.
they like ran this neighborhood or something. I didn't read it, so I don't know, but I think they made a TV show. Um, let's see. I got Buffy ones. I got the um those collections of ones.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that day when we
The
did that.
omnibus they're
That's a good
called.
one. Yeah, I like the art in it.
Yeah, so I have some of those. And I kind of consider books I get for video games like the where you make sure you get everything,
Hmm.
like the guides and
Hmm.
whatever. I feel like that's kind of comic booky in that way because sometimes I just like to read them because they're fun
Hmm.
uh, and have a lot about the story too because they don't just tell you what to do, they tell you a little bit about why this is happening
Yeah.
here and what's happening in the story type of stuff. And they try not to spoil you, I think, but it's they're fun and full of pictures, so it's similar.
Yeah, I like that. The Donkey Kong, one of the I can't remember which ones. I think it was Donkey and Diddy Kong game. Their book, the game book,
Okay.
was had good stories in it and like
Yeah.
jokes and everything. It wasn't just like
Go here
go
and
here, do
collect
this.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I like that.
Yeah, they put a lot into those guys, and
Hmm.
they're not just, oh, let me make
Hmm.
sure I know where everything is. It's also lore about the game and interesting tidbits and knowledge about the game are in those guys too. So they're kind of comic booky.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I think it goes back to like the storytelling. Just like it doesn't have to be a long story. And that's another good thing about comic books. Like if you just pick up a comic book, you can finish it within like probably 5 minutes. But it's great for like work breaks or something, and you're just like, now I just have this like, this fun story that I can think about throughout the day and
Yeah.
imagine myself in it, or again, like DC, imagine like the world that's different from mine.
Hmm.
I love that part.
Yeah, my mom used to make fun of me
Oh.
whenever we were on like a plane or something, and I got like a comic book or something, and I'd be done in 5 minutes because I just read all the words and don't really look at the pictures that long. And she's like, "You're supposed to look at the pictures." I'm
I
like, I just wanted to know what was happening. I didn't really want to see the pictures.
know. I feel like we lose our whimsy as we get older and we don't look at the pictures as much.
Yeah,
Um, I downloaded I think I bought like the digital copy of this one DC. It's like they're all more like villainy in it, like
hmm,
even like Superman, everybody. There was like an arcade game that you would go to like places and it was part of it.
yeah,
And I wanted to know like where this arcade game came from. I was like, okay, like what are they basing this off of? Like this can't just be something they made up for just a game. And of course there was a whole comic thing for it.
yeah,
And I think that was like the first time that I read a comic book where I literally was just reading the words and I didn't look at the pictures. And I'm like, why like Stop and Smell the Roses, but no, I totally just skip past it. And it's not like me because I think the artists who do that like are so talented. But yes,
Sure.
sometimes as we get
Yeah, the
older,
pictures look great,
hmm
but I mean, and it's part of the story for sure. It does
yeah,
Conan, connect stuff and show you visualization of what's happening too.
hmm
Like, I hate when people are watching a movie, but they're not really watching it, they're just listening.
I know
So
because
I'm
we're
like,
always like on our
pay
phones and
attention.
movies on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's subtle things that are happening
hmm
visually that are really part of the story. So
for sure.
I understand that those pictures are important. Just, it's like when I'm reading books and I like skim read too. I'm like, I just want to know what's gonna happen. Maybe later I'll go back, but my mom does that too. She'll skim through the book, be done with it, and then reread it slowly because she just wanted to know what happened, and now she can enjoy it because she knows.
That's like they say that's why like people rewatch things because they're familiar with it. So it's like that comfort feeling of knowing nothing's gonna happen. I already know or whatever.
Yeah. And I think about that with musicals too. Like
Mm.
every time I see Wicked in
Oh,
theaters, like musical theaters, not
movie
movie
theaters.
theaters, there's something new I see or notice or something, and I'm like, I've seen this so many times. I should have seen everything, but no, there's always something new. Where I'm like, I didn't know they did that with the lighting in the background. I didn't know there was an image of Alphaba in this or right here, or in the background or whatever. The clock's moving now. The dragon clock.
Yeah, I love
So
that feeling.
there's always something new to see in any show or whatever, and that's how you kind of get really more familiar with it is by rewatching it. And I get a lot of rewatch time in when I see reactors react to stuff, and that's also why I like it too because then I get more in depth and I get other people's thoughts on it too, and you just get more information about what's going on in the world, things you didn't even think about at the time. So all that's cool.
No, I agree with you. Um, but yeah, comic books. I think I learned how to read because of them.
Okay.
So, as you were talking, I was thinking too. I was like, I didn't have a big interest in wanting to read,
Mm-hmm.
but then when I noticed that I could read those shows, I was like, I gotta learn how to read. And I remember asking my teacher in kindergarten because they didn't really teach us how to read in kindergarten. Like they taught us the basics, but
Mm-hmm.
not like full reading.
Sure.
And I was like, no, I thought this is why we were in school. Like I I need to learn how to read today.
Right.
I have things I have to read. We had like a little candy store that sold comic books,
Okay.
and I would go there and I would see it, and they were like a quarter or like
Nice.
little thin ones, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, my mom will buy me something that's a quarter, but what am I gonna do with it? Just look at the pictures? Like I want to read it too, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I remember in kindergarten telling my teacher that I wanted to learn how to read just so I could read comic books. And she made me learn how to read this book about like an elephant or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to read about this
This
elephant.
junk.
I don't want to read about this. I want to
I
read
want
about
to read
Superman.
Superman.
I want to know how he can fly. Like, so I remember that. I was actually just at my elementary school and I peeked in
Mm-hmm.
to the my kindergarten class and I remembered that. And I remembered I was like, that's when she handed me that book for the elephant. I was like, I didn't want to read the elephant book.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, you gotta read Where the Wild Things Are or
I
the
know.
Hungry Caterpillar or something. You
Yes.
can't read Superman books.
Yeah. I did by third grade. I was reading everything, but
Yeah.
it initially my incentive for myself to learn how to read was so I could read comic
Sure.
books. And since they were pretty cheap, my mom would buy them for me, and there was a like a book sale or something similar to like the Scholastic ones, but it wasn't like a school one.
Hmm.
And she was able to get me a bunch of the Archie comics.
Yeah.
I wasn't as big into those.
I did used to read some Archies.
I did like I've read them because my mom bought them for me, and it was like if you have to if it's reading time,
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to read that over like a book that I'm not
Right.
interested in. So I did read them, and she got me a whole bunch of them. I don't know, probably on consignment or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so I had a bunch of Archies, but it was always like superhero comics that I was more interested in. I want to say definitely for the first like 15 years, it was just Superman.
Mm,
I didn't really branch out
sure.
till I got older.
Yeah, I forgot all about those Archie comics. And when they made that TV show and then was like the drama and like crazy, and I was like, what? Archies were just silly, to
Yeah.
me. But yeah, because they were always at the grocery checkout
Hmm.
line, so sometimes we just get some, and I started collecting them, I think. But I still have some, I think, but that I bought more recently. But yeah, I forgot all about. I used to read Archie and Veronica and
Hmm.
them.
Yeah. Veronica, I remember. And they were the same kind of like art style where their hair looked blue.
Yeah.
And that always used to hit me because I always wanted blue or blonde hair.
Hmm.
Because in Archie's, it's the other character has blonde hair.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Betty or something.
yeah, I was like, man, I, I want blue and blonde hair. Like, how does that happen? I even remember asking my mom when I was really little, I was like, how come I wasn't born with blonde hair?
How rude.
How rude. Like, and I lived in a very Spanish neighborhood, so there wasn't like a lot of like blondes just like walking around.
Hmm.
I did grow up in New York, so I did see blonde people, of course. But like, you don't go to school with people like that. So I couldn't ask my schoolmates, hey, why do you have blonde hair? I guess at 4 or 5 years old, you can get away with that. You can't get away with that when you're older. Uh, but I do remember that. And I think when I dyed my hair blue, what, like now almost like 8 years ago,
Hmm.
I think it was probably so because deep down inside, I was like, I remember seeing this in comic books and I want blue hair. So that was that was something I always wanted.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm sure you've had blue hair or something at some point.
Yeah, I had all colors. Even blonde one day, I just was like, I'm just gonna. That was a bad
Your
idea.
dream has come true at some point.
Yeah, not all dreams should come true. That blonde hair was not good. I did not keep it blonde for long. That was a bad idea.
And then the universe is like, this is why you weren't born with blonde hair.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's transition here into some news and trivia or games or something. I probably have some questions that I always think of, even though I don't write them down ahead of time. So you can prepare yourself.
Yeah. I always remember the answer 40 minutes later.
So, my first question is, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
That one's so tough. I want to say that it would be flying because I love to travel
Hmm.
and that's such an easy way to travel.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go somewhere, floop, I'm gonna fly there. But I think of something like in everyday life. Now I don't want to give this answer because I'm remembering your laundry analogy with Harry Potter. But
Yes, you'll have house elves for that. Or
yes,
magic, I guess.
like like let's say you're going to cook and you forget to defrost the chicken or defrost the food.
Instant
I was
defrost.
like, man, if I had that heat vision, I could defrost this. But how boring is that? Like
Yeah.
but it is like that would be something like Superman has so many powers, so he could do that. Like he could defrost it or whatever. But then again, if I could fly, I could just fly somewhere and buy like fresh produce, and I wouldn't even have to worry about freezing it. Like
Yes.
I could buy the freshest produce and meats and stuff. So I guess I'll stick to
And you
flying.
have to pick a Superman one, or that's the one you really want.
Yeah, I mean, it would be Superman's because flying is definitely something I want. I mean, Spider-Man can shoot webs, sure, and he's like spunky and whatever, but I don't,
Yeah.
there's no time that I've
I
said,
mean,
ooh,
flying's top tier for sure.
yeah, there's no time that I've said, ooh, that, but there's so many unique ones. Like Scarlet Witch, hers are so cool, and Doctor Strange, those are more Marvel characters, but like their powers are so unique. And talk
Mhm.
about like magic mixed in there, like Doctor Strange, his abilities are really great. Um, so I don't want to be basic and just say flying, but I think the one I've wanted the longest is flying because I wanted a magic carpet for so long. That's
Mhm.
why, because I wanted to be able to fly.
Yes.
So flying,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
flying.
mean, in dreams and stuff, I always dream about flying and stuff, and that's always what comes up. But thinking about it, ever since I saw that one TV show, like that short series or whatever, where the guy can tap a pencil and get a penny every time. That's
The
not the one I
Lost
want.
Room.
But yes, the lost room. The one where you can just, open the door and show up at any door, I think would be the one that I would want.
Yeah. You just have to know the
The
door.
door, yeah. Okay, and we have the internet now, so you can look up any door
That's so true.
on
They don't even
Earth.
touch up on that in the Lost Room. Oh, I want to rewatch that series now. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And there was a lot of interesting powers in that.
Mhm.
But that door one, I guess one of them was that guy with the time travel. He had that bus ticket or whatever. But he would always go back to that spot where all this stuff happened or comes from.
So I think that's where it would send people, and
Yeah.
then he would lie to people and tell them that that was hell.
He was mean.
Yes.
But yeah, if I had a power, definitely, like you said, ability to travel easily. So if I couldn't have the door thing, I would probably say like teleportation or whatever. Because I just want it to be easy to get places, even though some people think I can teleport already.
You can. I seen how you drive.
How'd you get over here so fast?
So fast. Blink of an eye.
I drove.
You'll text me, I'm leaving my house. GPS says this, 10 minutes later, I'm here. Like, how does she do that?
I watch traffic patterns very closely.
There's always traffic behind Disney. How does she avoid this?
And I avoid a lot the majority of the traffic that I've seen before. I have that kind of memory.
Yeah, well, when we did our road trip to go see Dean in New Jersey, we got there in like 15 hours. That even he was like, what? Like, because we tweeted him when he was getting on his plane, and he was like, he said, drive safe, I'm flying. and, and I was like, well, of course he's gonna get there first because he's flying. But we got there really quick, and he was like, how did you guys do that? I was like, it's over, man. She teleports, I tell you.
We drove overnight. That's
Yes. Hey, I just drove to New York and it took me 30 hours.
Yeah,
You and
well.
I drove to New Jersey and it took 15. I'm like, I don't know. We
You
did
could have
it.
took the train in New York. All right. Any news about any comics or movies or whatever? There's always going to be more Marvel movies, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the new Superman movie is really good. I'm not gonna give spoilers, but I do like how they did the Daily Planet.
Okay.
I agree with you. I like Clark more than Superman.
Hmm.
So I'm always gonna like anything Clark is in. That's really good. I wanna go to the Daily Planet. Like
Yeah.
I wanna see it. When we go to Islands of Adventure, we can see the Daily Bugle kinda when you go through the line for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And it makes me wish that I could see the Daily Planet because I'm like, I want,
That would be a cool
right,
attraction for
right,
sure.
even just walking through it, I just want to see it.
Yeah, because
Just
they got that Spider-Man one kind
yeah, if you actually do the line, which we're locals, we don't do that. But
of.
if you just ask to walk through some parts of the line, you can see more of like the computers and like where they're getting their stories together. And I'm like, I want to see that for the Daily Planet too.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a lot of fun, and that's what I liked a lot about in their new movie, is the way they portrayed the Daily Planet. Um, but otherwise, news. We're going to a convention. I think it's in August. I think it's actually the weekend or the week of Alex's birthday,
Hmm.
and one of the voice actresses for Rogue, from X-Men, is going to be there,
Okay.
and Alex is about, I don't know, we have 70% of her Rogue costume ready. So we should have it 100% by then, so she could meet the voice actress in her Rogue costume.
Sure.
We love to do that.
I was thinking of something, and I forgot what I was thinking of. I think it has something to do with um news or something. It was something in nostalgia related. It was something that I used to do in the past, but I don't remember what it is anymore. Thinking.
Is it your current nerve fixation?
No, not
No.
that yet. It was still comic book and stuff related, but I forgot.
Mm.
But oh well.
It'll come to you like it does for me 40
Right.
minutes later.
Yeah, some point in the future, I'll be like, that's what I wanted to say.
Oh.
Anyway, yes, we can move on to what we're nerding out about these days.
What are you nerding about?
Currently, I was just in an appointment with my nutrition guy. Shout out to Dr. Scott Graves. And we were talking about um, being able to travel,
Mhm.
outside of your body.
Mm.
So he's read a book. I don't know if he read it recently, but he was telling me about it about uh, beyond your body or whatever. I don't that wasn't the name of it. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember back in the day I used to when I was learning transcendental meditation
Mhm.
and getting around those type of people,
Mhm.
I was hearing about being able to travel outside your body. But I also heard that it was kind of dangerous because you can go to all the worlds or any world, and there's infinite worlds. But besides, you might get lost. Also, you might end up in a world where you don't know the rules to or whatever.
I read a book like that this
Yeah,
year when you traverse to the wrong place.
yeah.
Mhm.
So at the time, I like, oh, I want to travel and be outside my body. That's what I think about when I think about when I'm dreaming or something. I'm like, it has to be just me in another world or something. I don't think it's just I made it up in my
Yeah, it
brain.
was too good of a dream, too
Right.
fluid. Yeah.
And I have such vivid dreams. So, yeah, so that's what I'm learning out about now. Just thinking about getting back into maybe figuring out how to astral project or whatever
Oh,
would be interesting.
man, that's gonna make my answer sound so lame.
I'm sorry.
That's such a good answer. I want to learn to do these things. I want to traverse, but knowing me, I traverse to the wrong planet instantly. But like, oh well, there.
Oh
Oh
well.
well, I messed
Well,
up.
he said there's like protector people, or the book says that there's like guides and people who, if you're in trouble, they'll pluck you back to your body.
Good, yes, because I'll need them people. That's funny. I mean, it's not so much something I'm nerding about, but it's something that has been on my mind because it's everywhere. I have a visual. I love
Oh,
visuals.
let's see it.
So, I'm sure everybody has seen these guys everywhere, Labubus and Lafufus, because this one is soy milk. I don't know if you can kind of see her. She's from 2023, so she's like an OG before the hype. Labubu, uh, like $7. Now they're like hundreds.
Oh no.
Yeah, for real. It's like I can't.
Collectibles.
I guess, and I mean they're cute, and you mentioned where the wild things are. They kind of remind me of the
Yes,
main
they do
monsters.
look like those.
Yeah, and they're called the monsters. That's like what they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, my thing that I find hilarious with these collectibles is the fake ones, like these Lafufu ones. Like you can see little soy milk, she's all pristine, her hands go in the right direction, she doesn't move. She's so like her fluffy stuffing is all strong, her feet in the correct direction. Then you have Mr. Lafufu here. His ears are all a mess. His tag is small. His or hers, I'm sorry, they're girls. Look at her feet. Like they they
They
go
move around.
they move, forget the fact that they move around, like they are just all over the place. uh,
360-degree
uh,
feet,
uh,
360-degree head.
and this one in particular, what I don't, so I got home the other day and there was a package. My mom had brought it in and put it by like the doorway,
Yeah.
and it was addressed to Alex, her last name first, and I'm like, a New York address, which I googled, and it's a storage unit.
Mm,
What?
interesting.
And so I know it wasn't under my name, but I did open it because I
Did you
was,
test it for residue?
and I no, I threw the packaging away. And I told Alex, I was like, hey, I opened this. Let's see what this is. Come with me because this is your package, technically.
Yeah.
So I opened it, but we were there together. And who sent me a Lafufu? Like, what? So that's kind of something I'm learning out about. Definitely not as awesome as astral projecting and traversing to other planets and galaxies like you are. These little toys are so funny. People pay hundreds of dollars, camp out at stores and
Yeah.
fight each other
Until it's over. So the hype's
so the
over.
hype's over, right? Because like pops aren't popular anymore.
Yeah.
Thai babies
So
aren't
many
popular anymore.
collectible things that
Yeah.
are out.
So yeah, I think it's funny. I just, I don't get it. I don't get why people are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for this little tiny, it's like, it's,
Yeah, it reminds me of Cordelia when she's like, um, so, sometimes you can get the same thing for $10, but there's a $20 version of it, and why do you buy that one? Not you don't get it because it's more. You get it because it costs more. And I'm like, yeah, it was crazy what she said, and I was like, what?
no.
But yes, people put value on things that maybe don't really have that value, but all money is just the value we put on it. So
I mean, I can't talk because my Grogu collection is massive, and I do have a $400 Grogu. I mean, he looks like he walked right off the set. And it was a collector's like condition. It's limited edition. It's not like your run of the mill one.
yeah,
But that's what I'm saying. People are paying hundreds. I was at the mall and that one of these, like this macaroon set.
yeah.
I wasn't this one specifically, but a girl was trying to sell me it for $90. This $90?
Yeah, no.
And I hope I didn't laugh too much in her face.
You laughed in her face.
Not like directly in her face, but I definitely laughed. I was like, no, not ever. So good luck. Hopefully she sold her Labubu for $90 to someone else.
Yes.
But,
Well, if it's hype like that, I'm sure she found somebody.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of our episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on Nerd Talk. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below what you're nerding out about, what comic books you like, and how obsessed you are with Superman.
Let me know how much you paid for your Labubus.
Yes.
I do like to know
And that
Put
too.
put it in the comments. Don't be ashamed. It's fine. I paid $7 and I got the other one for free. So I'm sorry. But everybody else, let me know what you paid for them.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye.
See you.